Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Name Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Name Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvasesha Sunyavati Pastachari Shatari Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvasesha Sunyavadi Pastachari Shatari Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gauravakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gauravakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Bolo, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Bolo, Hare Hare, Bolo. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Jai Prabhupada. We're going to sing a song. Is that okay? Do you mind if we sing a song? Krishna conscious song. It's to do with chanting Hare Krishna. You might have songbooks or not, but maybe Rasikananda Prabhu will put it on the screen. I don't know. I think it's coming. Here it is. It's called Kabe, Habe, Bolo. Excuse the Union Jack at the top left-hand corner there. I know Brexit has taken place, but still, what to do? We're still identifying ourselves with this material world. Millions of flags all over the world. Town flags, everything. Everyone likes to show off their false identification. So to get free of our false identity, the process is that we have to realize our real identity. And that means we have to clear our hearts, clear the screen of our consciousness. The consciousness is like a screen that the soul is looking at things through. Depending on our consciousness, we see the world differently. We see ourselves and everything around us differently according to our consciousness. As we clear that consciousness, then things become clearer. Their identity becomes clearer. So Krishna's nature becomes clearer. We'll sing this song, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Kabe Habe Bolo. Say Dina, Amar, wake me up, please, if I fall asleep. Someone else this morning were very, very, very tired. So I hope that we can stay with you through the session this morning. It's a beautiful song of Bhakti Vinod Thakur, who is hankering for a day, when oh when will that day be mine? He says, offenses ceasing, taste for the name increasing. When in my heart with your mercy shine, when oh when will that day be mine? And you won't see that translation in your songbook probably, unless you've got a really old one. Because that translation was done maybe 50 years ago or something, a long time ago, by Chutananda and Jai Sachi Nandan Das, Chutananda Swami. And they were in Bengal, and they produced these songbook. This one's another edition, but the original songbook. And in there they had translation, but some of the translations, like the one for Kabe Habe Bolo, were poetic. Maybe not quite correct, literally speaking, but more or less correct. But nice poet like that one. And when oh when will that day be mine? Offenses ceasing, taste for the name increasing. When in my heart will your mercy shine? When oh when will that day be mine? Like that, they poetize it to English. Very nicely done. So as the fat Lord Chaitanya himself says, because of offenses, we have no taste in chanting the holy name of Krishna. So chanting to become free of offensive chanting. And I think everybody that I see online knows these 10 offenses quite well. So what are they? What are the 10 offenses in chanting? You have to see yourself, but we try to avoid them. Inattention is also considered to be offensive. And if we're attentive while chanting the holy name of Krishna, then Krishna will be attentive to us. The name is Krishna, and Krishna is just waiting for us to pay attention to him. He's personally come he's there waiting to reveal himself, and it's quite simple. He reveals himself in the heart when he chooses, no doubt. But when we're sincere in our chanting of the holy name, Krishna reciprocates nicely. So we'll sing this song and we'll hear the translation of the song afterwards. Kabe, Habe, Bolo, Dina. Aparada Gucci, Shuraname Ruchi, Kipavale Habe, Vidaye Sancha. Aparada Gucci, Shuraname Ruchi, Kipavale Habe, Vidaye Sancha. Habe, Habe, Bolo, Amar.
Habe, Habe, Bolo, Dina, Amar.
Chiri Kahia, Kabe Jemani, Sahishuta Guna Ridoyetayani.
Vinadi Kahina, Kabe Jemani, Sahisnuta Gunari Doyete Hani.
Sakale Manada, Apane Yamani, Hoy Ashwadibo, Namarasa Sa. Sakale Manada, Apane Yamani, Hoy Ashwadibo, Namarasa Sa. Kabe, Habe, Bolo, Dina. Kabe, Habe, Bolo,
Dina,
Dana Dana Ara, Kabita Sandari, Polibona Chahe, Hey, Nikosori. Dana Dana Ara, Kabita Sandari, Polibona Chahe, Yosukakari. Jame Jalme Dayo, Ohe Gorahari, Ohe Kuki Bhakti Charane Toma. Jame Jalme Dayo, Ohe Gorahari, Ohe Kuki Bhakti Charane Toma. Kabe, Habe, Bolo, Seti Amar. Kabe, Habe, Bolo, Dina. Kadite Shri Krishna, Nama Ucharana, Pulakita Deho, Gadgada Bachana.
Kadite Shri Krishna, Nama Ucharana, Pulakita Deho Gadgada Bachana.
Bye Be Patu, Have Sangatana, Nirantara Netre, Babe Ashudar. Bye Be Patu, Have Sangatana, Nirantara Netre, Habe Ashuta, Kabe Habe Bolo Segin,
Kabe Habe Bolo Dina.
Kabe Habe Dripe, Suradunitate, Gora Nityananda Boli Nishkapate.
Kabe Namadi
Dripe, Suradunitate, Gora Nityananda Boli Nishkapate. Nachiagaya Virai Bochute Patulera Praya Charikiya Picha Nachiagaya Virai Bochute Patulera Praya Charikiya Picha Kabe Habe Bolo Sheki
Habe Habe Bolo Dina.
Kabe Nityananda Morikori Toya Charibe Mora Vishayaramaya Kabe Nityananda Morikori Toya Charibe Mora Vishayaramaya Yamore Nija Charanera Chaya Namera Hatete Deve Adika Yamore Nija Charanera Chaya Namera Hatete Deve Adika Kabe Habe Bolo
Kabe Habe Bolo
Evolutivo, Harinamarasa, Namarase Matiri.
Evolutivo Harinamarasa Namarasa Devi Bhagavasa
Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Harinama Sankirtan ki Jai. Brihat Madanga ki Jai. Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki Jai. Shri Lokanath Goswami Tirobhav Mahamahotsav ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga, all glories to Shri Prabhupada. Vanchaka Paturubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Thank you all for being with us today. It's my good fortune. I hope I can be with you and not drift off into another world somewhere. Excuse me for being extraordinarily tired this morning. No excuse, it's the mode of ignorance. And what can we do? Some or another, we keep trying. This Kali Yuga, very fallen age. Okay, are you all right? And you got everything? You got everything? Okay. Joe has to go off now on a mission. Let's see. We all have our missions, and this is the real mission is this mission of this song, you could say, the mission to develop or awaken. It's already there. Love of God's already there in our hearts. Vanchakalpa Trubhyascha, Kripa Sindhivyevachapanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. It's sometimes hard to remember that Krishna's, of course, in one of his expansive forms, his forms where, let's say, accompanies a living entity in this material, dreamlike state. He's there with us in the heart. And our love, first love for the super soul is one thing, but love for Krishna himself is dormant within our hearts. It's awoken. The super soul, the Supreme Lord in the form of Paramatma is guiding the living entities accordingly. Ideally, he's guiding us so that we awaken that love of Godhead, and he sends his pure devotees into this world to act on his behalf, to try to wake us up. Jeev Jago, Gaurachandra Bole, Kotanidra Jayo Maya, Pishachira Kole. Wake up, sleeping souls, wake up. You were sleeping long in the lap of the witch called Maya, and sleeping in this dreamlike condition, just like a baby sleeps in the mother's lap, and feels comfortable there, unaware even of what may be going on around. But in the mother's lap, the baby feels comfortable. So the living entity, even though we're not, in reality, we're not in a comfortable or safe position, far from it. Atma Sanyasva Satsapi, that we're taking shelter, Dehakala, Dehapatrakala Tradishu, that we're taking shelter of fallible soldiers in the Srimad Bhagavatam, or taking shelter of that which is destined to fall, whatever it is in this world, whether it be the body, the family, the nation, whatever, even religion, if it's not, let's say, real religion, it's some cheating religious process or something, everything has its end. It's not a constant identity or a constant shelter. Krishna says, give up all these temporary sarvadharmam prachagya mame kamasharanam, give up all these temporary shelters and surrender unto me completely. I will protect you from all sinful reaction, do not fear. So that complete surrender to Krishna, surrender to the holy name, the pure devotees of the Lord are teaching us this process of taking shelter of Krishna through the means of devotional service, which is meant the purpose of hearing Shravananadi Chitti Kari Udai, the process of hearing Shravananadi and chanting the names, the form, glory, and pastimes of the Lord is the process, Chitti, of purifying our hearts, Kari Udai, and awakening as the sun. When the sun rises in the morning, everything becomes illuminated. That's that Nityasiddha Krishna praying, Sadhya Kabanai. It's there already. The goal of our life, Sadhya, is to awaken that Nityasiddha Krishna praying, eternal nature of the soul, to love Krishna. So it's there in the heart. It's not something which is obtained by an external method. It's only, it's only realized, it's only awoken by the mercy of Krishna. That Krishna gives his mercy when we follow the instructions of the spiritual master. Yasya prasada bhagavat prasado yasya prasado nagati katopi. By the mercy of Krishna, one gets the spiritual master. By the mercy of the spiritual master, one gets Krishna. And there's no other way. This is the method of achieving or receiving the Lord's mercy. Tad viganartam sagarumi vabhigachan. Manishotanam brahmanishtam samit brahmanikapoti. There's no other way, Vedas describe, other than taking shelter of the Lord's representatives. This is the only way to awaken our Krishna consciousness. We may think otherwise, but this is the process given by the Lord, even in the Bhagavad Gita, Tadvidi Panipatina Pariprashnena Seva Upadekshanti Te Jnanam Jnaninas Tattvadarshana. How Krishna explains to Arjuna, you try to understand the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire submissively, render service, because the self-realized soul has seen the truth, he can impart that knowledge unto us. It's an imparting, it's an instrument of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For the pure devotee, the Lord is passing his mercy. He's passing his instructions also, of course, but that is a form of mercy to the conditioned souls. And ultimately, the Lord is waking us up through his representative, through Jeev Jago. So this song, which we've just sung, Kabe, how we can go forward to the translation, please, Vasikananda Prabhu. Okay, this is the more literal translation. When, oh when will that day be mine? When will you give me your blessings? Erase all of my offenses and give my heart a taste, ruchi, for the chanting of the holy name and purity. As long as there are offenses there, we cannot get a taste in chanting, because our tongues, not just our tongue, but our consciousness is like jaundiced. And in the nectar of instruction, a very nice example is given in this regards, where Rupa Goswami describes how a man with jaundice, and maybe some of you have had jaundice, but taste of food is bitter, even sugar tastes bitter. And no matter what you give the person, they won't have it. It won't be a nice taste. Even if it's a gulab jamun, an ice cream, a pizza, a samosa, whatever you like, it doesn't taste nice. What a horrible fate. What a horrible experience. And it has no taste for eating. Similarly, Rupa Goswami says, we have no taste for chanting because our jaundice-like tongues, I could using the word tongue, it could be our senses in general, jaundice-like, and thus they have no taste. Everything's like boring or bitter or just meaningless, because we're not tasting it. We're diseased, disease. We're in a diseased condition of life. And what is that disease condition of life? Well, the disease condition is that we're identifying ourselves with this body as the self. So Lord Chaitanya, Nechi, O Shari Maya Nashi Baralagi, Harinama Maha Mantro Tumi Magi. He's come to cure us of the disease. Nechi, O Shari, he's brought the medicine. I have brought the medicine to cure you of the disease of forgetfulness of Krishna. And most people are not aware of that at all. And even we forget that that's our problem. We're forgetting Krishna. It's kind of ironic. We're the Krishna conscious movement. Sometimes we forget Krishna altogether in our services. As Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, in all of our activities, we should try to remember him. And no matter what we do, we should try to be conscious of Krishna with our various activities. In this way, with our mind and intelligence fixed on our activities dedicated to him, we will attain him without a doubt the promise of the Lord. So acting in remembrance of Krishna by chanting the methodology, which is the medicine which Lord Chaitanya has brought. That Oshadi is Harinama Mahamantra, the chanting of the holy name. So this song particularly is about that. And how we can develop a taste. Well, bitter is also a taste, but it's not an attractive taste. We want the sweet taste. The word is mentioned here, rasa, as far as taste goes, and that rasa means sweet. So we want to taste the sweet, mellow association of Krishna, and that comes by Krishna's grace when we are attentive to him. If we're chanting, we're thinking of something else. And Krishna will also, he's not going to reveal himself. The more we try to hanker him or desire. I was reading this morning in Chaitanya Bhagavat about Lord Chaitanya's appearance in this world, or Krishna in general's appearance in this world. And you may know the famous verse, Yada Yada Hi Dharma Siddhani Bhavati Bharata, and so on. Or the verse, Paritranaya Saranam Vinasha Chidushvitam. The Lord appears in this world to deliver the pious and annihilate the miscreants and establish religious principles. But this meaning of this, the deeper meaning is the devotees is not just referring to anyone and everyone, although that could be extended like that, but particularly those devotees who are feeling such separation from the Lord, it's unbearable. The Lord comes to remove their unbearable feelings of separation so they can get the chance to associate with him. As far as the demons are concerned, it describes these by Baladev, Vidyabhushan, and Vishwanath Chakravarti. This specifically means the Lord takes on what's called naimitika forms. It means forms meant for a particular purpose in this world, such as Matsya or Kurma, whatever they may be. Specific forms for specific purpose, to annihilate specific demons. And otherwise, through other agents or through other empowered incarnations, the Lord could easily dispose of various demons if he wanted to. There are certain demons like Hiranyakashipu, Kamsa, and others. Ravan, nobody, and simultaneously enliven devotees and kill these powerful demons and establish genuine religious principles. That is not within the grasp of an ordinary person or even advanced Vaishnava to some degree, but not to that degree. When will I taste the essence of the holy name? Taste, we all need a taste. Prabhupada says without a taste, we cannot go on. We have to have a taste for chanting the holy names of the Lord. If we don't chant the holy names of Krishna, we will not be able to carry on. And if we don't have a taste, so we don't want to carry on chanting. This is the dilemma, whereas by chanting more and more and more and more and more, that disease condition, that jaundice-like tongue condition can be cured. There's not a question of, oh, I don't like the taste, I'm not going to chant. It's a question of chanting more, and then gradually as we become purified, a taste will naturally evolve. Now, this is important. Bhaktivinoda now is equating with this song, we could say, which he's compiled, is equating the Sikshastakam prayers as being inseparable accompaniment to the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. The Hare Krishna mantra is a very special mantra. It's not like any old mantra. Many mantras they're mantras. They help control the mind. Or they may, if done properly, they may help us to achieve a particular objective, goal, liberation, Vaikuntha, heavenly planet, something or another. Whatever it is, there are different mantras to help control us. help to evoke or achieve one's objective goals. And their mantras, even describes in Chaitanya Bhagavata when we chant Hare Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Gopal Govinda Ram Srimadu Sudano Krishna 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 Hey, and so many other mantras, and some of the songs also are specifically, let's say, for those who are needing reverential worship, which means all of us. They're very important to fix us in our sadhana, in our Vaidhi sadhana bhakti. But ultimately, the Maha Mantra is not a mantra of that kind. It's the holy name. It's Krishna himself. Namachintami Krishnascha. Tanya Rasa Vigranas Golokara Premadana Harinama Sankirtan. It's come from Golok Vrindavan, come from Vaikuntha or from the heavenly plants or Brahman or the super soul or something. It's come directly from Golok Vrindavan. And the Mahamantra, just like when Krishna comes, all the various avatars and potencies and opulences are within him. He may not manifest them, but for certain purposes he does. For instance, when he kills demons, it's the four-armed form, the Vasudeva form who does that. It's not the Vrindavan Krishna form who kills the demons. And this may also apply in Shakti Vaishavatars, also Haridas Thakur, when he was being beaten in the marketplaces. That was Prahlad Maharaj who was getting beaten. It's they're eternal siddhas, they're eternal associates of Lord Shaktis who appear with the Lord to assist the Lord in his pastimes. And when there's a particular pastime need, that particular Shakti manifests, maybe not in a physical form, recognizable, but in the form, as we only see externals. Even on the material platform, there's another body, it's called the subtle body. So we can't even see that, we can feel it and we experience it, of course. We can't see it with external eyes. So these, to speak on the spiritual plane, these spiritual Shaktis or internal associates of the Lord appear in a particular pastime because they are endowed with certain Shakti, with certain opulences of the Lord, be it absolute humility or tolerance or whatever it may be. So in the Shikshastakam prayers, we see that in order to rise from the platform of Vaidhi Bhakti to Raganuga Bhakti, spontaneous devotion, awakening a taste, a ruchi for the holy name, has to come to that platform. The chanting of the holy name, but with a qualification, humility, tolerance, respect for others, and not expecting respect for oneself. We can practice it, you could say, imposition in a little bit mechanical way. So, okay, we're trying to develop the right attitude, but the real attitude is not something which can be imposed any more than love of God is imposed. It's there in the nature of the purified soul. And it comes about by associating with those who have these qualities. Even Sri Hirani Kashipu Uvacha in Srimad Bhagavatam. It introduces Hiranyakashipu as Shri, most glorious Hiranyakashipu said. We don't usually think of Hiranyakashipu as glorious. I mean, glorious materially maybe, but not from a Vaishnava point of view. However, he is glorious. He's one of the chief gatekeepers of Lord Narayan, and he appears in many of the pastimes of the Lord in various forms. So in Chaitanya Lila, these same personalities also appear as Chagai and Madhai. They appear, they accompany the Lord when he goes here and there, if necessary. So Hiranyakashipu, he said that association is just like that of when we come into contact with a crystal stone, everything is reflected in that stone. So we see when we associate with devotees who are serious and sincere, then it can have that effect of evoking sincerity and seriousness within us. When we associate with those who have a maddened desire to hear and chant about Krishna, it can also do so. Again, depending on their sincerity and seriousness, it might be a show only. It could be a show only, so that's another thing. But genuinely speaking, if we get that chance to associate with somebody who is mad for the holy name, who is getting a taste from the Bhagavatam. This is how you could say that determination also, the determination and the courage to go forward in our service is evoked or is developed by that association of those who have it. Those who have a taste for the holy name, in their association, that taste may awaken by the grace of Krishna. When will I taste the essence of the holy name? Essence, the essence of something, the real essence, not just on the surface, not licking the bottle of honey, but getting inside. I feel like opening a bottle of honey right now and just licking it all up. The taste of honey inside is what really is the thing, not the licking on the label or the bottle or the cap, but getting into the honey itself. When our desire becomes strong enough by the mercy of Krishna, one can get that taste, real taste. At the moment we get a taste, Krishna gets some taste there, reciprocal taste maybe when we're chanting in congregation. This is Yuga Dharma, congregational chanting, as we get some taste, but then we kind of fade away again once the kirtan's no longer going on. We're not on that platform, but in the association of the kirtan, we get some taste. Or prashadam, we certainly get a taste there. Maybe the philosophy, maybe service. Prabhupada said usually the first taste is for service. Maybe whatever it may be, cleaning the pots or whatever it is, one gets some special taste for some reason. Krishna's mercy, because it is his internal potency in the form of devotional service. So we get some mercy and some taste by Radharani's grace. So in this way, to get that taste by association, it's important to associate. Free from desire. Yeah, next verse, please. When will I cry out that I have no longer any desire for wealth and followers? And it's not just, oh, Krishna, I don't want any wealth and followers. Please take them away. No, it's when it's like a desperate child crying for its mother. We actually feel repentant that we're interested in wealth and followers and beautiful women or men or whatever it is. Happy, we're eager to get respected and don't really like to give respect to others unless I get something back in return. And when will we get free of these, say, deadly traps on the path of spiritual life? This desire for name, fame, and distinction are deadly, like pitfalls on the path of devotional service. They may be covered over and look nice, but boom, one gets caught before one knows it by this false egotistical approach to Krishna consciousness. So it's repentant. It's not just a mechanical repetition isn't bad. It's in the Vaidhi Bhakti or the practicing stage that may be there as part of our sadhana to pray like that. But ultimately it's the heart, the soul who's crying, why have I not got love of Krishna? Why am I still attached to this mundane sense gratification? Why am I attached to being glorified? Oh, how unfortunate I am. Oh, Krishna, please deliver me. And this is the Lord also comes for this reason, to deliver the living entities from this, those who are devotees. That is, even the demons, Krishna kills them. In this Kali Yuga, Lord Chaitanya kills the mentality which is causing us to be opposed to him or remain in this material world for sense gratification, etc. Whether the aspiring devotee is praying that you become free of these. Now this is, again, on the advanced stage, you won't be doing that necessarily. No time to do that. Too much absorbed in satisfying Krishna's senses. But in our stage, yes, there is a need to cleanse the heart of the dust. Cheto darpanamarjanam bhava mahadavagni nivarpanam shreya purva chandrika avataram vidyat ujivanam. Dust covering our hearts. Dust meaning layer after layer of various karmas in the form of manifested and unmanifested, but desires are also part of the karmas. They're covered by so thick layers. We don't even know how thick because we're only experiencing the present manifestation of our present karma. Inside, there's so many aparabdhas, unknown karmic reactions yet to manifest, thickly covered. When something is thickly covered, it's hard to see what it is. Even a bright light, when it's covered by thick layers of some concrete, you can't see anything. You don't even know it's there. The soul is so brilliant, but see, imagine how thick the coverings are. Material coverings. They may not be thick in terms of earth thickness, but in terms of other elements, so covered over by mind and intelligence, so mind and intelligence are so cloudy, dark clouds. When there's very, very dark clouds in the sky, when everything goes dark, it's like nighttime almost, even though it's daytime. Big black clouds, thunder and lightning or whatever it is, but it goes dark. It's suddenly like that. We're covered over and we're like in darkness of ignorance. We don't want to praise somebody else. We just want me to be praised. Where are we? When will my body be covered with goosebumps? Little tiny bumps all over, sometimes when you get excited or you're very cold, sometimes little bumps, little goosebumps come up over. And my voice broken with emotion as I pronounce Krishna's name. When will my body change color and my eyes flow with endless tears as I chant? Oh, this is hankering. We can't again imitate these things. We can understand that this is a stage of hankering. Right now we may be hankering for breakfast or dinner or lunch or sleep or something. Or we may be hankering for service. That's really good. We may be hankering for the association of the Bulls. That's excellent. We may be hankering to go in Harinam Sankirtan. That's very excellent. Like that. But it's not on, it is the path leading to perfection, but it's not the end in itself, it's the means, you would say. But that means is the holy name, the Maha Mantra. It's actually love of God. It's not that leads to another thing. The holy name is both the sadhya and the sadhana. The sadhana means the practice, but it's also the goal, because when chanting the holy name of Krishna in the proper association, following the proper process, there's not the, okay, now I've got to self-realization, goodbye, Hare Krishna. No, then Hare Krishna becomes fully manifested. And one embraces the holy name in ecstatic love, you could say, serving the lotus feet of the holy name with one's very existence. And it's the goal. The holy name becomes, it's like a ripened fruit, you could say, unripened and ripened stage. The material world fruits do go off, but the holy name never. It got ever increasingly reciprocal and just, what can you say, blissful loving exchanges, ever increasing in the chanting of everything is there in the holy name. The Lord has invested all Namachintamani Krishna's Chaitanya Rasa. All the potencies of the Lord are contained within the Maha Mantra. Everything, all the forms of the Lord, his pastimes, everything is revealed, you could say, when we are actually chanting the holy name of the Lord properly, purely, with love. Not even just purely, but with love in the heart. A softened heart. So to come to that platform, Bhaktivinoda is hankering to reach that stage. When will I give up? So these symptoms we just mentioned now, in the first stage we were hearing about sadhana bhakti. Now this is the symptoms of bhava bhakti. Voice breaking with emotion, eyes, tears flowing constantly. It's not like you just can't stop it. It just happens without any, it just is the way it is. Ecstatic, it's an ecstasy. When will I give up all thought of the world and society to run like a madman along the banks of the Ganges in Navadvip, singing and dancing and sincerely calling out the names of Gaura, Nityananda? This is another thing. one genuine preacher of the holy name. We may be as some we may say, oh, I'm preaching. Oh, he's a preacher. Well, we're instruments for the preaching. It's not that we're the source or we're the powerful preacher. We're instruments for the pure devotees of the Lord to spread their message. Hopefully, we're most fortunate if we are to spread their books, distribute their books, or spread the message through Nam Sankirtan or other means. Very fortunate, and by being an instrument like this, we're gradually actually we'll develop into a preacher, and a preacher is one who loves Krishna. One who loves Krishna, wants to see the Lord's holy name spread to every living entity of the universe. This is a symptom of one who has love of God. They can't, paradukha stand, tolerate the fact that others are suffering due to want of Krishna consciousness. So they're so burning in their hearts how to wake up everyone, how to spread Krishna consciousness. They don't go away, they may do. The actual Uttama, those who are Goswami, those who are understand the message of Lord Chaitanya and the Lord Krishna. They don't hide themselves away much, but maybe sometimes. But primarily they're trying to spread the holy name everywhere, all over the world. Bhakti Vinod is also hankering for this. When will I be guilelessly, without any restriction or inhibition, chanting the holy name of Krishna everywhere? Not caring for what people think necessarily. Next one. When will I give up all thought of the world? I think we read that one. Next one. When will Lord Janananda Prabhu be merciful to me and deliver me from the enchantment, maya, of the sense objects? When will he give me the shade of his lotus feet and the right to enter the marketplace? The namahata of the holy name. It's not just something which we see, which is related. Maybe it's a little reflective or shadow, or maybe it's more realistic, but it's totally related to the pure holy name. But it's not the holy name is not fully manifest. The full namahata of the holy name, everything is there in that marketplace of the holy name. All forms of loving exchange with Krishna are present there. The living entity can, you could say in terms of the analogy, can purchase any form of loving exchange with Krishna when the heart is pure. But it's not quite like that, of course. But the Lord and his devotees are, you can say, distributing the various mellows of love of Godhead through the Sankirtan movement. And those who are taking, embracing, following purely can actually receive this gift, you could say, of loving exchange with Krishna. Next one. When will I buy, borrow, or steal the ecstasies of the holy name? So we're still, in a sense, we're at this stage of ecstasy. The devotee wants ecstatic, but it's not just for me ecstatic. Real ecstasy is when Krishna is pleased. So indirectly, what it's saying here is, somehow or another, I will beg, borrow, or steal whatever is required to make Krishna pleased. It's a devotee is like a lover. When the lover sees the beloved happy, the lover becomes happy. Even if we're miserable, mother sometimes when she sees a child happy, even though the mother may be sick, she's happy. So a devotee, when the devotee sees Krishna happy, automatically the devotee feels ecstasy, even if he's in a terrible situation, materially speaking, because his Lord Krishna is happy, satisfied. It's selflessness, materially speaking, no self-motivation, no desire. The devotee has no desire for anything, material returns, karma, no desire for liberation, no desire for elevation to the heavens or mystic powers or anything. Doesn't desire anything at all in that regard. It's completely free. Just the devotee just wants anukulena Krishna. He wants simply that which pleases Krishna, anukulena, which brings pleasure to Krishna. Anushilanam, and constantly or following in the footsteps of those who are bringing pleasure to Krishna. This is cultivating this mood of pleasing Krishna instead of pleasing myself. When will I lose myself in the intoxication? So the devotee is very eager and beg, borrow, steal. We don't normally beg, borrow, and steal, but we may do. But for devotional service, everything else has zero value compared to love of Godhead. Even all the wealth of the universe is insignificant compared to love of Godhead. It has no value whatsoever. Even liberation, even Vaikuntha, for one who's actually loving Krishna, is insignificant and doesn't want to know about it. No one wants to know about it. Basically, describing that devotion is hellish for Vaishnava to think about gaining liberation or going to heaven, getting freed of karma. These things may all happen, but to aspire for it is absolutely foolish, completely foolish when one can get the highest. Even Dhruva Maharaj, if we read the pastime of Dhruva Maharaj in the Bhagavatam, how he was so determined, a small boy, to get a kingdom greater than his grandfather, Lord Brahma, a powerful kingdom in the universe. He wanted the biggest kingdom, but when he actually got the darshan, of Lord Krishna Garba, at that point of time, he lost all interest in all forms of material, anything. No way, I don't want to. I approached you, he said, looking for broken pieces of glass. He compared the universe to a piece of broken glass. Now I have got the most valuable jewel. I got your association. I don't want anything else. Of course, he wasn't unnecessarily displaying the highest level of love of God, but even on that level, he was seeing that the darshan of the Lord, it's nothing in our experience can compare to that. And we're getting that opportunity every day. The deity, our eyes are covered. Our eyes are covered. The eyes have to be Premanjana, Charita Bhakti Vilochanena, Santaksadaiva Vidayeshu Vilokayanti. They have to be saturated with the cell of love of God. That love of God, which we mentioned in the beginning, has to be awoken over the course of time by the association, the cultivation of pure devotional service. So we'll read on. When will I immerse myself in the nectar of the holy name after grasping, oh, this is nice, after grasping the feet of a saint who constantly relishes the flavors of devotion? That's a nice one. I've not noted this translation before. When will I immerse myself in the nectar of the holy name? What is this? Right. What is it?
Friends is your title of residence.
Just at this moment, as I were immersing ourselves in the nectar of the holy name, my French resident card has arrived. I can now stay in France and I'm not going to be kicked out back to England. Oh no. I've got no excuse now. I have to stay here. Hare Krishna. I'm now a French resident. Can you believe it? Anyway, I thought we were spirit souls. Hare Krishna. When will I immerse myself in the nectar of the holy name after grasping the feet of a saint who constantly relishes the flavors or the rasa of devotion? What a beautiful translation. Relishing the flavors of devotion. We try to relish the flavors of this material world, commotion and emotion and commotion, and no devotion, and certainly no love of God. So busy. The tendency is we want to taste these flavors of love for family and friends and lovers and children and servants and nature and so on, because that is the nature of the soul in eternity, in purity, at least in relation with Krishna, that these various rasas are there. Of course, we may be prominently absorbed in one rasa in the spiritual realm. In this world, we want to try to taste them all if we can. But this is with me in the center. This is not devotional service. It's a perverted reflection of the nature of the soul in transcendence. Trying to enjoy Krishna's energy is Shakti instead of Shaktiman. The source of the energy is his energy, not ours, and we're trying to enjoy it. In the material sense of the term, that's called a thief. It's a thief who's trying to enjoy someone else's property. It's called a thief, and they're punishable. That's how karma works. Because we identify this as mine, therefore we have to be punished, because it's not mine. There's a way of gradually purifying in the form of varnashram dharma. Religious principles are there in order to gradually regulate and minimize our misbehavior or act in such a way, just like a drug addict is gradually weaned off of drugs by some methodology, slowly. Reform, it's a process of reform. But the Maha Mantra, everything is there. You don't need to go through the step by step process of reform just by taking shelter of the holy name. And as we see in this song here, and chanting with all our hearts, everything will be achieved. You don't need no separate endeavor. The holy name has everything. It's not just a mantra which, practically speaking, helps to Taraka Brahma mantra to deliver us from whatever condition we're in, but it awakens our eternal condition, our eternal nature. And any more we advance in Krishna consciousness, the more that chanting the holy name will awake that within others too, not just as miserly me, but everyone around us will become inspired to chant the holy name. It's not just a repetitive thing that anyone can chant and it's the same thing. It's not. It's the purity of the devotee that the Lord reciprocates. He reveals himself accordingly as we surrender to him in the form of Namarupa, because we have no interest in anything else except for devotional service. So naturally, anyone who hears such chanting of such a devotee will also lose interest in everything else but the holy name. We see this when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was traveling in South India, that he would go from village to village, and everybody in the neighborhood would all come running to him. And he would, because they were attracted. He was the center of all attraction. He was the all attractive personality of Godhead. But his chanting was just, everyone was just completely intoxicated by his chanting. And then they would be also repositories of the holy name. They would go everywhere and distribute the holy name in their own villages. They had been empowered by the Lord to do so. Empowered. We have a singing Vaishnavi next door here. That I think is Lochanananda, if you know Lochanananda or Gandharvika. They are married here in New Mayapur. I think that's their daughter singing next door. If you can hear it from a distance, I don't know. She sings a lot. And her name is Sangeeta, and that's one who's, that's a very good singer, possessed of a beautiful voice, etc. So she's practicing for the future. I hope she'll be a wonderful kirtanier. So yes, and when will I feel compassion for all living entities? When will I forget my own pleasure and genuine humility? Humility. I remember one time hearing from one very nice devotee he gives seminars on various subjects as his job and the material around it. And he was in seminar. He said, well, one thing is humility doesn't think oneself to be very low, to be lesser than everybody else. That may be, but it really means to think less about oneself. Sometimes with that has so-called, oh Prabhu, I'm so fallen, I'm the lowest, I have no good qualities, Prabhu, you're so advanced. It's actually not humility at all, it's pride. We're actually advertising our falsities. Because we're not really thinking like that in the heart of hearts. We're looking for respect. And then when no one respects us, we get upset. Same thing with kirtan or something, we get upset if we don't get our way sometimes. It's not really humility, it's to put ourselves aside and put Krishna's will in the center. Another form of humility is that we realize on our own, what chance do we have? We have to take shelter of the Vaishnava's mercy in the holy name. we're not qualified to attain love of God by any other process. Lord Chaitanya said these two things, service to the Vaishnavas and service to the holy name, are the only methods in this age, particularly, of self-realization or God realization. So simple that we have to learn the science, we have to practice it, following in the footsteps of those who have that taste, who do love Krishna, and in their association to execute devotional service. So that's the translation. Oh, there's one more line. And when will I be back to meekly go from door to door, preaching the message of love? Yeah, meekly. Meekly means without false ego, just totally dependent upon the Lord. Or like Nityananda, doesn't mean weekly. I mean, weekly in terms of weakness. I mean, not once a week. Also maybe every moment. But it means meekly. In other words, one is not acting on the behalf of one's own false ego, but on behalf of the Lord, for his pleasure. As Nityananda used to go door to door, spreading the holy name. Sometimes people would tell him to get lost, but he would not react in a way of anger or anything necessarily. He would laugh and some other find ways of getting him to say Krishna's name. Sometimes he would get a little angry, but generally not. That anger was also a sign of his love and his mercy sometimes. But yeah, devoted meekly, because we're not the doer, we're not the enjoyer of the fruits of our work. We're just trying to do our service and spread the holy names to others. Hare Krishna. There may be some comments. Was there some comments at the end there of that song, Rasikananda? I saw somebody said remarks.
The tune.
Huh? Musical remarks? Something? This song can be sung in Ragamishra Pilu. Okay. I'm sure we all know Ragamishra Pilu. Okay. Somehow or another. Whatever it is. So, with your permission, I'm going to stop. I was going to read from Chaitanya Bhagavat this morning. But we've gone on to another subject matter, maybe next time. I was reading this morning from Chaitanya Bhagavat, a beautiful section about the Lord's appearance, why he appears in this Kali Yuga, particularly to spread the Yuga Dharma. So let's see. Hare Krishna. Any questions or comments? Feel free to ask. That might help keep you a little awake as well. The holy name is surely all that be. I have to read that poem again one day. Beautiful poem. Yes, something is coming here. So it's Bhakti Lata Hare Krishna. Bhakti Lata, way down there in Kerala, in India. Due to an artist like envy, we may blaspheme other devotees, even if not in words. Maybe in our minds, this causes us to lose name, Nam Ruchiya, making us inattentive while chanting, leading to further Nama Parag. How do we get out of this vicious cycle, my God? How on earth we have mercy? We've got to get mercy. Pray. I mean, desire, do we desire it or do we not desire it? I mean, it's a matter of what we want to a certain extent, and then depends on Krishna's mercy. We can't make it happen either. But if our desire is sincere, whatever reason, our past karmas, bad association therein, or whatever it may be, that cause these horrendous, say, storms in our consciousness of envy for other living entities, no matter who they are, a mosquito. We should not be envious of any living entity. The clouds on our fence, very offensive mentality. Okay, externally we can say there's no reoccurring karma. We know the effect of that is that we won't become purified either, because our mind is so polluted that Krishna is not going to reveal himself in a polluted mind like this. Certainly not. So no taste in the holy name, no enthusiasm to hear and chant, no enthusiasm to submit. Why should I submit to that devotee? Why should I listen to them? Blah, 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 whatever it is. So many unfortunate blocks that we've had in our hearts there. So to recognize them is one thing. If we don't recognize it at all, it'll take a long time. To recognize that this is let's say an inimical state of consciousness is one thing, beginning. Then what to do about it. So that's the first step, to recognize. If we don't even recognize it, or we deny it altogether, like trying to wake up somebody who's awake, actually, but they don't want to wake up. They don't want to be disturbed. Is very difficult. So to recognize the fact that this is an obstacle, this is an anartha, this is an offense, this is a dreadful cloud in our consciousness, or storm in our consciousness. And is one thing. So how do we remove a terrible storm? How does it, it's the sun, the powerful sun can evaporate even the worst stool, stinking stool, filthy garbage, whatever it is, can be either evaporated or cleansed in the presence of the sun. We have to come into the presence of the sun. How do we do that? We have to pray to the Lord for his mercy. On our own, we cannot. Bhaktivinoda Thakur himself states that it's not possible to overcome these anarthas, even one of inattention on one's own. One has to pray fervently to the Lord for his mercy. There's no other way of extirpation, getting free of this, other than the mercy of the Lord and the mercy of the Vaishnavas. We can try to reveal our hearts in confidence to those who, not to anyone and everybody for the sake of it, but especially to those who are, maybe sometimes to those who are envious of it, depends on the situation. If it's some senior Vaishnava, yes, we may reveal our hearts with all intention of trying to release ourselves from this. And that may also evoke mercy from the object of our envy or whatever. It helps us in general. Prabhupada said by congregational chanting of the holy name, coming together in congregation and just trying to absorb ourselves in the mood of the kirtan. This also helps to remove envy in general. This is a generalization, but a general pervasive removal of envy from the heart by loud kirtan of the holy name. And that applies to all the anarthas, all the enemies of the soul, whether it's lust or greed or anger or envy or madness or illusion. By loud kirtan, and not just for 5 minutes, but on and on. This is the Yuga Dharma, to remove all these things are all secondary. They're just things on the sideline as we go on the path, but they're very powerful and they hold us back. They can captivate us for no end of time if we're not careful. So loud kirtan, and they have to slip away eventually. And we'll feel very much, not just relief, we will feel very repentant. We embrace these types of inimical thoughts, etc. So prayer, loud kirtan of the holy name of Krishna, repentant feeling, genuine repentance in front of the object of our, let's say, envy or whatever it is. He says, like, what's his name? Tulsi Das, Bill Mangal, when he was overwhelmed with lust in front of Chintamani, then he revealed his mind and his heart, and there's more, different stages. He couldn't stop it, but he revealed his heart, and then he got the mercy. The Lord allowed him to go forward to Vrindavan. So different ways, but basically, ultimately, it depends on mercy of Krishna, to remove that darkness within our hearts, remove those clouds. And please, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. How we can be empowered to help preach and spread the holy message, holy name message of Srila Prabhupada. How to become empowered. The empowerment Prabhupada said is already there. We just have to take it. Sounds easy, doesn't it? Yeah, he's given all that's required. We just have to take it. If we want to be instrumental, we have to take it and do it. Just do it. I think there's one famous company called Nike, and their slogan is just do it. Well, Prabhupada said that even before Nike came on the market. One of the early days of our movie, he said, well, how do I get Prabhupada to say, just do it? You know, we can't imitate, we are what we are, but I know Prabhupada used to empower devotees, you can do it. The order states that along with the order of the spiritual master is the empowerment to execute the order. But we have to take it. If we're still trying to interpret the instruction or trying to reason with the instruction or deny the instruction, we have doubts, etc., then of course the empowerment will not manifest. We'll get something else instead. But if one surrenders, the empowerment comes. Even in ordinary dealings of this world, a man may be empowered, a policeman is empowered to act on behalf of the government. Why? Because they're considered to be loyal servants and they know what the will of the government is. So you have to know what the will of pure devotees are, what Krishna's will is, and then be a loyal servant, and then naturally the Lord will give us responsibility, give us the strength, give us the empowerment. Somebody may be empowered to act on behalf of the president in certain situations because he's considered to be reliable, truthful, responsible, loyal. So like that, one gets empowerment from the Lord. Devotees, I'll just give an example. It could be now, it could be anywhere, anytime, any place. But so many devotees I saw around me in the beginning who were so empowered. I mean, they would do anything. They accepted Srila Prabhupada as their life and soul. Prabhupada was the best example. He was empowered to do the impossible practically because he fully surrendered, had firm faith in the instruction of his spiritual master. Now, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, in his commentary on Vyavasayatmaka Bhirike Kurunanda, a verse from Bhagavad Gita, explains this is all that matters, is this one-pointed determination to execute the order of my spiritual master. He said, for me, this is my sadhana, which means practice, and sadhya, which means goal. I have no other goal. I don't care, he said, if I go to hell or heaven. It doesn't worry me the least. All that matters to me is the instruction of my spiritual master. And Prabhupada was the same, and therefore he was empowered. He embraced the spiritual master's instruction as his life and soul, without any adulteration, having firm faith in that. Even though he didn't know, if you read Prabhupada's poems, you read some of his letters, you realize it wasn't that Prabhupada had some magic formula as such, some kind of materialistic menu which resulted in the spreading of Krishna consciousness. No. He was just surrendered to his spiritual master. Whatever you do with me, my Lord, you can do what you like. You can make me a success or a failure as you like. I'm a puppet in your hands. Do as you will. You can make me dance as you like, dance as you like. Therefore, Krishna made him dance as he liked. Because Prabhupada wanted to be that instrument. Desire has to be there. Desire. The empowerment is already there. We have to be genuinely desiring it. Step by step, Krishna, maybe step by step. Sometimes it can be immediate. Step by step. But every devotee is empowered by taking shelter of the instruction of the spiritual master to the degree that we do. One is empowered to execute. It may be quantitatively different from one to the next. That's not the point. It's like an insect is empowered to whatever it does, make a spider's net or spider's web or something. Yeah, I'm sure it didn't go to university to learn how to do that. And even if we went to university, we couldn't learn how to do it either. He's empowered by the Lord. Flat birds are empowered. Bees are empowered how to fly with those dinky with little wings, carrying a big blob of a body with honey in it and whatever else it's got in there. Teeny little wings going like crazy. Empowered to do that. He doesn't know how he does it. He just does it. Krishna is empowering. Human beings are empowered by different things also. So certainly the devotee will be empowered, maybe, not on can't imitate, but those devotees were doing amazing things in their days. The Prabhupada said, just go there and start. And they would go. Not, where do I stay? You find out, Krishna will provide. How do I get money? Krishna will provide. How do I spread Krishna consciousness? Krishna will give you the inspiration. Depending on Krishna, Krishna will do everything. As they surrender it to me, I empower them accordingly. He says reward because they empower also. Faith in Krishna and the holy name. So I don't know where it's from. Due to the mercy of Lord Jagannath, today there was a Rath Yatra festival on the Gold Coast, Ki Jai, organized by the Bhakti. God, there was a Rath Yatra on the Gold Coast. Fantastic. Oh, it's really wonderful. Send some gold over here, please. We've got to fix the roof of New Mayapur. Big leaks. Some stones fell off the roof 2 weeks ago. Really dangerous. Oh, we need to send some gold over from the Gold Coast. With the intermittent lockdowns, even today, just before the start, organizers was told they could, oh no. Somewhere after some pleading arrangements were made by Lord Jagannath, the session went ahead and the program had to finish by 2 p.m. The lockdown started. My goodness, what's going on over there? I'm out of touch with the news. As you mentioned, there has to be strong desire and the Lord will reciprocate. The devotees had the desire to take the Lord and the holy name out. The devotees must also be chanting well. Good. All glories to the Gold Coast devotees. All glories to everyone. Yeah, well, we have, believe it or not, a Rath Yatra in Paris at the end of August. A big procession through the streets. We're not able to have a festival at the end or at the beginning, but we can have the parade. They can't stop us because all over France every week there are parades going through the street protesting about the whole thing. So they can't stop us either in that way. They could, but it would be unconstitutional to do so. So we don't know if you can come, but what date is that, Rath Yatra? 28th of August, we're having Rath Yatra in Paris. So there's Rath Yatras going on all over Europe right now. Europe's not perhaps quite so, protective as some places, are a little bit more, I don't know, revolutionary or not, I don't know what the word is, a bit more open. Yeah, oh guys, Haribol Matush. How can I get out of the comfort zone? Most of us are trying to get into the comfort zone and start to build genuine relationships with devotees, relationships that are deep and without envy. Thank you. Thank you for that nice question, comment, etc., etc. Well, as far as I know, there are many ways you can answer this question in terms of detail, but the basic principle is working together, cooperating together, doing things together, especially Sankirtan together. That's why Prabhupada has given us the sadhana program. He's given us, Lord Chaitanya has brought the Yuga Dharma and was all about awakening our relationship with Krishna. And so the more we accept Krishna in the form of Yuga Dharma, Harinam, Sankirtan, then naturally relationships with others will be awoken in due course of time in a favorable way. And we no longer want to sit in a comfort zone because we realize there's no comfort in this world. The only real comfort is when Krishna is pleased and when we're in the lap of Krishna by being on Harinam Sankirtan. Now, I mentioned another thing in this regards, that as time goes on, that usually devotees find themselves in a situation where, I'm talking positively here, where they find a particular services which they really fit into, and they can share. And you don't, in those situations, envy and ill feelings, generally speaking, become insignificant because one is becoming satisfied within oneself. Envy is because we're not happy inside us. Lust, all these things mean we're actually we're kind of envious of ourselves, really. We're not experiencing our own nature. We're in unnatural condition. So therefore envy is very easily developed. And it's not really a comfort zone, but we try to stay in this lay in whichever mode of nature we're in. We try to take shelter of that sometimes. But in the when we're situated in devotional service in a particular service, you want to do that more and more and more. And you want to share the mood, not necessarily the activity, because everyone's different, but that mood of enthusiasm and absorption, full absorption in whatever one's doing with others. How wonderful it is to just clean windows all day long. Now, you may not think, oh God, I don't want to clean windows all day long. Well, maybe you don't, but it's wonderful to be absorbed in devotional service. And then maybe later on some other service, but to be absorbed in that. And have no envy of anyone else because you're completely absorbed. Mamcha yoga vicharana, bhakti yogena sevati. One's fully engaged in devotional service. There's no gaps there. One transcends the modes of nature and comes to the spiritual platform. May take some time to be, because our mind is always thinking of other things other than what we're doing right now. So therefore, we can't really get a taste for what we're doing right now because we're in another world altogether. And whatever. So when we're actually absorbed and living in the present, as Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, dwell not the past that sleeps, nor the future dream at all, but live with times that are with thee, and progress thee shall call. So living in the situation we're in, and gradually we'll realize our constitutional nature. Only when the soul is actually in its constitutional nature are we really satisfied. But our constitutional nature starts with, Jive Swarup Hainachara Krishna Das, we're the servant of the servant, etc. So when we're absorbed in service, even in this world with our condition, and it's something according to our condition, you can be very, very, let's say, so absorbed in your service that you don't feel any ill. Even the persons you had bad feelings to before, no longer there. Why? What use is feeling bad about somebody else? How is that helping anyone to advance in Krishna consciousness? So one was contented in one situation, but it's not a comfort zone, as you were mentioning. It's not like a kind of a leave me alone, situation, don't bother me situation, or just a hiding situation where we're hiding everything. No, it's a situation which is becoming spiritualized. It's natural. It's more natural. It's becoming spiritualized. So we play our part and be satisfied with our part. There's no need to be envious, because being envious we're the one who suffers from it, not anyone else. And it's like envious of yourself. We're causing our own harm. You can't blame anyone else. You can blame the other person, what they are. Being angry or envious or lusty towards them doesn't do us any good whatsoever. It doesn't change them, at least not for the better. So so associate, getting out the comfort zone, associate with devotees who are fired up, enthusiastic, in devotional service. We'll try to chant the holy name loudly. According to time and circumstance, of course. Not in a situation where in the temple room when you're chanting japa and you're shouting your head off or something, or in the middle of the night when everyone's trying to sleep. We have to use a little common sense. How do we get the comfort zone? Realization, hearing Bhagavatam. There is no comfort zone, by the way, in this world. It just doesn't exist. It's an illusion. It's due to the mode of ignorance. So the comfort zone is to get absorbed in Nam Sankirtan, chanting the holy name in congregation of other devotees. That's where you become free of your lethargy and your, whatever it is, wanting to, take it easy or be in the comfort zone. We advance. If we don't advance, if the sun is constantly moving, if we want to stay in the sun, we also have to move. It's not stagnant. Don't remain stagnant. Nothing useful will grow in a stagnant lake. So we have to be on the move. Mostly in the beginning, at least we have to be doing something. Active. 24/7, Prabhupada said. Many times Prabhupada asked, what would you like me to do, Srila Prabhupada? Prabhupada would many times say, just keep engaged 24 hours a day, non-stop. Keep engaged. And that's easily evoked when we have the association of devotees. I mean, I guess you're there in London. In Manor is a nice, comfortable situation there, but in one sense. But be careful. Try to keep fully engaged. Keep on your toes, and hear and chant the holy name and Srimad Bhagavatam carefully. It will help to protect us from this tendency. Hare Krishna. Oh, there's more to it. Sometimes we lose taste for building relationships. Yeah, okay, so there's a second part to this, because it's one-sided, don't worry. We're not here to build relationships individually necessarily. That should come more naturally. We're here to build our relationship with Krishna in the association of devotees. One time, I mean, this is like an extreme, and of course you'll find other statements which will, infer differently. But one time Prabhupada was asked, how do you think about relationships with other human beings? And Prabhupada said, we're not interested in that. We're interested in our relationship with Krishna. Automatically, our relationship with others will be rightly situated. So on the absolute platform, that's the situation. You could say in our present situation, no, we're not God. We can't have a relationship with every living entity. And certainly not a favorable one. Even the Lord, or most living entities in this world do not have a favorable relationship with the Lord, at least not at the moment. Krishna wants that, but we don't. So don't expect it. Don't expect utopia. We try to play our part, try to be sincere ourselves, and associate with Svajati, those who are similar-minded, and learn how to associate with those whom we can't relate with, or those we can relate with, whatever it may be, but learn the science and nectar of instruction. And Bhagavatam teaches we could say nectar of devotional, so the science of relationships is there. But the more we're rightly situated, the more naturally our relationships with others will become natural, not artificial. Just try to avoid offending other devotees and be tolerant, tolerate. And just because the other person doesn't seem to be reciprocating, that's not necessary. Maybe we can think like that. We can't make that happen. That's part of our purification, that we're not the doer, we're not the controller, we're not the manager of these things. We try to play our part, and we can't force others to reciprocate accordingly. If it's a block in our service, like a very significant situation, not just day-to-day thing, but something which is very, very significant, and we can't go forward, and that requires then discussion of confidential maybe, but it requires discussion sometimes with a mediator. But that's not always the case, not usually the case. But if it's like a major thing in our service, in our association, etc., then we should try to open up our hearts and try to see what others can help us to clear that up or to resolve the situation more. Okay. Well, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I thank you all very much this morning for your association, and we are hoping to go on Nam Sankirtan this afternoon in the local town of Tours, in France. We have Agni Day Prabhu still staying here with us for quite now 6 months or more. He's been here in France now, and he's been in New Mayapur for a few weeks also now. And we had a Kirtan Mela 2 weeks ago with Sachinanda Maharaj and Kadambakana Maharaj, and other very good Kirtanias from here. And we're planning another festival. We'll see what Krishna, we have to go through the mayor, of course, for these things. So it depends on the coronavirus, but if he gives the green light, we'll be having another festival at the end of the month for Balaram. And Lord Balaram, the presiding deity here in New Mayapur, Krishna Balaram. And it's their 45th anniversary by Srila Prabhupada installed them in 1976. So this was the 45th anniversary of their installation. you also, if you're in a position to do so, welcome to come, I think, if the mayor gets the green light. And what else is on their menu? I moved into the hut, lower hut, lower hut, Little India, a couple of weeks ago, or maybe 3. And so far, so good. Yeah. Hare Krishna. We plan to go traveling on Monday or Tuesday around France, visiting our Sankirtan. We got a new Sankirtan van for the traveling Sankirtan party. They're now in the south of France, trying to distribute books on the coast down there. Temperature down there is in over 40, 43 degrees centigrade. And up here it's been 15 degrees, 17 degrees. Kind of been strange climate in France this year. But life goes on. Books are going out. Around the country, different devotees are trying to distribute Prabhupada's books. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Okay, well, we'll go on then. There's no more questions. We'll have a little kirtan. Where's the kirtanas? We'll have a little kirtan. And thank you all so much. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Bolo, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Yashika, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, oh Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Gaura Premanandi Transcendental Book Distribution ki jai. Just for your information, there's one devotee on the screen right now. She lives in France. She's 79 years old, and she's a wonderful Vaishnavi. And she goes out every day she can distributing Prabhupada's books on her own. She's married. She has to look after her sick husband as well. And she lives a long way from the devotee community, but she goes out as much as she can distributing Prabhupada's books. So I think if she can do it, anyone can. So please try to distribute Prabhupada's books as much as you can for the pleasure of Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Premanandi, Hari Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hari Hari. Prabhupada gave his life blood for these books, so please try to do what you can to show a little bit of, we could say, indebtedness to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, Go Premanandi, Hari Bo, Hari Bo,
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Maharaj. Hare Krishna. Bye bye.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Hare Krishna.
Hari Bo,
Hare Krishna.
Bye bye.
Hare Krishna.